Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
My voice is clear, right?
Good afternoon, sir.
So, my voice is clear or
Yes, sir. Clear.
okay? Okay. So we'll do one thing. We'll start with 8085 programming. So there are a little bit of things on the architecture side. We will cover it after we cover the programming part. Because once we start programming, we can do some simulation as well as you can do some programs in lab classes in parallel. So 8085 programming is very easy. Only you have to follow some basic syntax. So I'll just wait a couple of minutes. If someone else is joining, then we'll start right away. Okay, I think no more students are joining. Okay, I'll do one thing. After this class is over, I will generate the attendance. So probably I'm getting this attendance in a mail ID format. Then I have to matching it. So I'll request everyone to put your name and registration number after that mail ID. Once this class is over, I will share the document. Okay, for 8085, how to write a program. So for writing a program, we have to understand what are the instructions and what is the programming model. So we'll just walk into it basically. So any microprocessor, why we need a microprocessor to execute some kind of instructions or programming, we have to read some data and based on some logical analysis, it has to operate on something. Let it be a PID controller or let it be a temperature sensor or let it be like AC. If the temperature is given at certain point, then it will switch off the compressor automatically. So these are all small embedded systems. Like your washing machine, once you start the machine, it will exactly rotate or spin the motor for maybe 5 minutes. So those kinds of programs are embedded in the system. Now the question is how to write and what are all things we need to know. Now how it is different from our programming in C, C++. Basically C, C++, Java, Python, these are all high level programming languages. But when we go to directly the chip, any digital chip, like in your previous semester, you might have gone through DEC, digital electronic circuit. So in digital electronic circuit, you must have studied flip-flops, counters, shift registers, and all those digital circuits, adder circuit, half adder, full adder. So my suggestion, if you have missed those, just brush those things because those are also important. So any digital circuit that will understand only in patterns of 1 and 0. Okay. So basically whatever program we write, it will be converted into a string of 1 and 0, simple binary. But for our purposes, in this programming class, let it be 8085, 86 or 8051, what we will do, a string of 8 bits, we will convert into a hexadecimal number. So like if a string of 8 bit is 11111111, so we will write it as FF, hexadecimal notation. So basically why we are writing in hexadecimal, so that it will be compact, it will be easier for us to understand. But one thing you always remember, whenever we give any data to the machine or what we call a machine level instruction, it is always binary strings, either 1 or 0. The string of 8 bit, it can be a string of 16 bit, it can be a string of 4 bits. So we have to deal with it. Now the question is, do we have to write in binary strings? The answer is yes. So we will have to write some program in machine level language. So today's class also we will go through one of the online simulator which is available. There you can write your basic codes and you can see what is your machine level languages. So it will be very interesting. I will show you one to write how to write program, one or two. Then you can probably try your hands on. So introduction. So basically microprocessor executes the instruction given by user. There are simple things. Let us go. So let us say this is a string of 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 1. So this is a machine level language. Machine level language means binary string, either 0 or 1. Okay. So my microprocessor will understand only in machine level language, that is binary string. So whatever instruction or whatever program we write, finally it will be converted into a machine level language. So what are the different levels of a language? Like any high level language, like C or C++, whenever we code, there is something called compiler. Once it compiles, what is the purpose of compiler? Compiler is generally, it includes the header files and corresponding libraries. Then it generates a object code. Once this object code is generated, that basically generates a assembly kind of object code, then it will be converted into machine level language. So finally everything goes into machine level language. But in primitive like 8085 programming, we will be directly dealing with machine level coding. So how to write machine level codes also we will go through it. Don't worry about it. Okay. So we'll start with a simple program of addition. Let us say I want to add two numbers. Okay. So if we want to add two numbers, okay. Let us come back to this slide after some time. So basically, we will be looking at this addition program a little bit. Okay, so there will be some syntax we'll be covering like MOV, ADD, SUB. So MOV is for move instruction, which copies from one register to another register. ADD is for addition, SUB is for subtraction. Some simple syntax MBIA, comma 2H. Okay, so there is a mistake in the slide. 2H cannot be written, so it will be 02 or 04. So let us say I want to add two numbers. Okay, one number is 2, one number is 4. So what basically I am doing, the first number, which is 2, H stands for hexadecimal. So let us say one of the number has to be stored in one register A, one of the numbers has to be stored in one register B. Then we have to add A equal to A plus B. So this is basic format. So once we write, if we go back, this left side syntax MVI A comma 2H, MVI B comma 2H, ADDB. This is the assembly level language. So whenever we write instruction in this format, this is called assembly level programming. So whenever this assembly level language is finally converted into machine level language, what is machine level language? So machine level language is binary codes. Binary codes or hexadecimal codes. So there is a in between which is called assembler. Okay. So the task of the assembler is to translate the assembly level language to binary language. Generally, machine level language and assembly language are microprocessor specific. How it will, you will get to know when you go through 8085 and 86. Like there will be some instructions which might have different machine code in both the microprocessors. So these are machine specific. Means for 8085 you have to write a different set of instructions. For 8086 you have to write a different set of instructions. And maybe for 8085 there could be different manufacturers like Intel, like Atmega. So for each manufacturer that might also vary. But for machine independent language such as high level language, it will be same instructions like C, C++ and all. Okay, so this is important. So basically, this is programming model, not the architecture. So what is the difference between programming model and architecture? Programming model means this is the part which we will be using for programming. So there are a lot of other things which we do not use in programming directly, but they are part of the architecture, like timing and control unit, interrupts, counters, all those things which are not part of programming model. But you have to understand this is the programming model. So what is most important? Accumulator. Accumulator is denoted as A. Okay. Register array. If you remember, the registers are B, C, D, E, H, L. Right. Memory pointer registers. Memory pointer registers. One is stack pointer. One is instruction pointer. Program counter and stack pointer. Flags. So there are 5 flags. Last class we had discussed. Sign, zero, auxiliary carry, carry. All those are okay. So this is the basic circuit, basic register set. So you can see accumulator, the bold or the capital letter indicates the register name. A means accumulator, B is a register name, C is another register name. So these are all 8-bit registers. So we can, or we will start with 8-bit addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, those kind of programming at first. And this flag register, it is of 8-bit, and this 8-bit flag register is divided into sub bits. Sub bits, if you look carefully, there are only 5 sub bits which are assigned, remaining 3 sub bits which is blank. That is tinta blank is. So those sub bits which are blank, which they are not assigned. The assigned sub bits are sign, zero, auxiliary carry, parity, carry. Okay. So we'll go through it, what each one of it does, one by one. Okay, so this slide is important for your programming. So before that, whatever slides are there, yeah, you can just only have a look at it, but this is really important. Any question on this slide or any part you do not understand? We can discuss on this slide a little bit longer. So basically it suggests that 8085 has some 8-bit registers, B, C, D, E, H, L. One 8-bit register will accumulator, one 8-bit register flag register which has some flags, two 16-bit registers, stack pointer and program counter, and data bus 8-bit, bidirectional, address bus 16-bit, unidirectional. Any question on this one? Okay, no questions. Okay, so this is the overview. 6 general purpose register, B, C, D, E, H, L. These are general purpose register. Okay. 2 accumulator register. Difference between general purpose register and accumulator. So general purpose register means it will only be used as a temporary storage, like intermediate value, we can hold it for some time. Accumulator is a special purpose register, it is not general purpose. Apart from storing intermediate values, it will also hold the results as well as it will also perform all kinds of arithmetic and logical operations. Third thing, there are some flag registers, 5 different flags are there, 4 program counter register, 5 stack pointer registers. So this is really important, all these 5 things. Okay. Now 6 general purpose registers, B, C, D, E, H, L. So combined, also we can use it as pair of registers like BC, DE, or HL pair. Okay. Accumulator is identified as A. That means like registers B, C, D, E, H, L, we can also use the name A for accumulator. This register is part of ALU and it is all these registers are 8-bit. Apart from general purpose register usage, accumulator can also do arithmetic and logic operations. Also, most important, all the results will be stored in accumulator. If we do addition, if we do multiplication, any kind of operation we do, the final result will be stored in accumulator or register A. Okay, now there are 5 different flags in 8085. 0, carry, sign, parity, auxiliary carry. Okay, one thing, whenever you will be going to 8086 or 8051, the architecture will be almost similar. The register names will be almost similar. The flag contents will be almost similar. So if you understand 8085 thoroughly, then it will be very easy to go through 8086 as well as 8051. So whatever you have in your mind, any doubt, you can just simply stop me anytime and ask or put it in the chat box.
Sir,
Okay. Ah,
sir, general purpose register can be used to do arithmetic operation.
general purpose registers can be used to do arithmetic operations. Like think of a situation. Suppose I am adding two numbers. Let me go back to this. Okay, I am doing A equals to A plus B, in which I am adding two numbers, right? So if you look carefully, B is a general purpose register. So B is a general purpose register, so it will only store the intermediate data. So any number, suppose I am adding 10 plus 20. So accumulator will hold one data, B will store second data, and final result will be stored in accumulator always. Okay. So in this type of syntax, the second operand A equals to A plus B, A equals to A plus C, A equal to A plus B, the second register is a general purpose register which will store only intermediate values. Only data it will store, but directly it will not store the result. Bujpal not clear.
Understood, sir.
Okay.
Sir, both the registers are bidirectional in nature.
When we say register, we'll go back here. Say registers are nothing but a 8-bit data storing element. Okay, I can store any data. That means I can copy data from a memory location to register as well as vice versa. I can copy data from a register to memory location. Okay. Now you might be confused about this bidirectional and unidirectional. So in order to access the outside memory location, there are two ways. One is to transmit data, one is to find the memory location. So whenever we have to find the memory location, so it will be unidirectional. So whenever we will be transmitting data, it will be bidirectional. That means copy contents from both ways, memory to register, register to memory. Okay.
Yes. Sir, and the configuration of this register means they are in SysOp, PISOP, which type of configuration?
Sorry.
Sir, means the serial in, serial out, or parallel in, parallel out. Sir, means which type of configuration they are
Okay.
put together?
Okay. So serial in, serial out, that is kind of linked list we are talking about. Okay. These registers are only 8-bit registers. Okay. So I can copy 8-bit data to that register. That means, suppose these are all 8-bit strings. So I can directly copy this 8-bit string into a particular register. Okay. તમને C programming କରିଛ? So when you write a syntax int a equals to 24. Let us say I wrote int a equal to 24. So what generally happens? The integer a is a integer type. First, second, a is assigned the value 24, right? So what is the maximum size of int? There is some size, 1 byte or 2 byte. So that maximum size can be, we can
2
assign
bytes.
that. So what is the maximum size in C?
2 bytes.
2 bytes. Okay, for 2 bytes means what is the maximum number we can assign? 2 to the power 16,
Yes, sir.
right? So similarly, whenever I say register B is 8 bit, that means I can maximum assign a value of 2 to the power 8, right? So 0 to 256 in terms of my decimal value, but generally we will deal with only binary and hexadecimal. So 00 to FF. So any register we will directly store it. Okay. Now these are not stored in any kind of stack or linked list or any kind of tree notation. This is just the set of registers. We can use it any at a time. We can randomly use B or D or C or E or H. So there is no order as such. So just think of it as the independent variables, and we can use all these independent variables in our program just to perform a certain activity. Like if I have to do addition, I can write B plus D. If I have to do multiplication, I can do for loop. Uh, I can use something as a counter, then repeated addition, and all those stuffs. Okay, so whenever you have a question, just stop me. Just don't and feel free to ask. And always remember, it is a good thing to ask questions. You, those who are asking questions are really good because you must have that much of confidence in you to ask questions. That is a good thing, and it will build up for your placements as well. So if you shy away and do not ask questions in the normal classes, the same thing is developed and it will be a habit. You will continue till the placements until in your future. So even if it is a very silly thing, it is better to ask questions. So no one knows everything. Even I may not know all the things. So better to discuss so that we will clarify doubts as well as there will be some discussion. Okay. So I'll come back to the flag registers where there are 5 different flags. Okay. So each flag is of 1 bit. So each flag will be either set or reset depending upon particular condition. If the result is 0 or some kind of condition, it will happen. Program counter. Okay, program counter is a 16-bit memory register, and it will store the address of the memory location, which is to be executed. And program counter is incremented one by one. Once this instruction is executed, then it will move to the next location. Okay, all these things you will understand once we write a simple program. Once I write a simple program, everything will you can understand. For now, these are the basic definitions. There is something called stack pointer. Stack pointer is again a 16-bit memory register. It points to stack. So there is a stack which is last in, first out kind of data structure. So whenever we will be using a stack kind of data structure, we will be doing push operation and pop operation. At that time, we can use stack pointer to store the memory location. This is a special purpose register stack pointer. Okay. So instruction set of 8085. So there are 74 different type of operations in 8085. So this is very small data set. So once we go to 8085 to 8086, the number of data sets will increase drastically. So in 8086, the number of operation is very high. It might be more than 200, 300, but in 8085, there is only 74 opcodes. So one of such opcode is MOV. MOV is an instruction. Each instruction in 8085, we can, let us say, we can divide it into 5 major categories. That means either it will do data transfer, copy of data from one register to other register or memory location, or it can do some arithmetic operations, or it will do logical or bit manipulation. Branching means terminating a program or branching a program counter to a different location. And machine control means interrupt or stop the program or stop execution, those kind of things. What do we mean by data transfer operations? Data transfer operations means suppose I want to load a data into a register or copy a data from one register to another register, or copy data between register to memory location, or copy between a input output port to accumulator, or load a directly 16-bit number into a register pair. So for each type, so there will be a different type of instruction, or you can say the opcodes. Some of the examples. Okay. So if you look carefully, each instruction, left side is the explanation, what it does. Right side is the particular instruction set for it. So if you look carefully, whenever we write load 8-bit number 4F into register B, that means what is the data? 4F. So this is 4F, register B, register B. So the common syntax is MVI. MVI means immediate value. So whenever we will be dealing with numbers 8-bit or 16-bit, we will be writing MVI. So if you look carefully, you can find the similarity MVI and LXI. See, there is these two statements and terminating with a I. I is written as a part of immediate addressing. We'll go through the addressing modes in maybe next few classes, in which you can understand the जो भी instruction or any instruction which has a I in it, at the end it will have some kind of data, like 4F is 8-bit data, 2050 is a 16-bit data, right? And whenever we write copy register from A register to B, we simply write MOV, MOV A comma B. That means copy the contents of B to A. And always remember, there are two registers. One is source register, one is destination. Okay. So we always write MOV A comma B means the first one is the destination, second one is the source. So MVI B comma 4H, that means B equal to 4H. LXI H comma 2050, that means HL pair. HL pair can store the value 2050. Okay, so you have to remember all these. Yes. So it is easy. So first time it looks difficult. So there is a easy way of remembering all this. So this follows a standard template. We'll go through it. Don't worry. So initially it is just mixed up, so it is looking difficult. Maybe.
Sir, for
So on,
HL pair, we will write only H.
yes, that is the syntax. So if you look carefully, HL pair, so we are writing LXI. Okay. So LXI, if I write H, so it by default means HL pair. Similarly, if I write B, by default it will mean BC pair. Okay. So each instruction has two parts. If you look carefully, MVI is first part and second part is B comma 4F. MOV AB is one thing. So each instruction can have data or may not have data. Okay. These are some standard. Okay, right hand side, whatever instruction we have written now. So these are all assembly level programming. So finally it will be converted into machine level. Each assembly level programming has a corresponding binary string or hexadecimal code that is called opcode. So similarly, second is arithmetic. Arithmetic we can do addition, subtraction, increment or decrement. addition of two numbers. So if you look carefully, if I want to add ADI again, SUI subtract. If I want to add register B, by default one of the operand is accumulator. So we are not writing one. So we are just writing this is the syntax. SUB, INR, DCR. Okay. INR stands for increment, DCR stands for decrement, ADD. So ADDB means add the content of register B to accumulator. Another question is where the final result is stored. Final result in all these cases will be stored in accumulator. So that means first instruction ADI 32 means A equals to A plus 32. ADDB means A equals to A plus B. SUI 32 means A equals to A plus 32. SUV means A equals to A minus C. INRD means just D equals to D plus 1. DCRE means E equals to E minus 1. Okay. Like in your C programming, you write I plus plus. Here we write INRD. Logical instructions and or exclusive or compare
Excuse me, sir.
complement. Yes,
Sir, accumulator is a memory location or variable in itself?
both. Any variable. Okay, accumulator will not be memory location because this is part of 8085. Whatever is part of 8085, it is not memory location. Accumulator is a simple register like B register, like C register. It is another register A. But because it has some additional features like it will store the result as well as it will perform all the arithmetic and logic operations, so we call it as an accumulator. Like your CRGR, okay. CRGR is normal student, but in addition to normal classwork, they do something else. So that's why they call CRGR. So similarly, accumulator is a simple register like BCDEHL, but apart from normal register operation, they do something else also, like finally storing the result as well as storing the intermediate values as well.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to increment or decrement data by 2, okay. So if you want to increment or decrement data, good question. In 8085, there is no instruction. Either you write, transfer it to accumulator, then do A equals to A plus 2, or you write INRD 2 times if you want to do increment 2 times. Similarly, if you want to do decrement by 2, then write DCRT 2 times, or DCR 2 times. Okay. So this is a very basic programming language. So it has not sophisticated instructions. It is a 1970 assembly language programming. So you can think of very basic things. In 8085, there is no multiplication instruction. So you have to write a repeated addition kind of thing. So only thing I have is addition, only thing I have is subtraction. But you have to write multiplication programming as well as division programming. So in that case, you have to write a for loop and you have to take one thing as a counter and you have to do a repeated addition. That is in one of the lab classes, you have to do that. Okay. Okay, logical and bit manipulation operations. So like addition, subtraction, these are the logical operations. And or XOR, compare, complement, rotate. So and we write it as ANA. ANA H means A equals to A and H. So this will do bitwise and. So we have 8 bit in A, we have 8 bit in H. So each bit by bit it will do AND operation. Okay. Similarly, logical OR, it will do OR operation. So if you look carefully, same thing. One of the default operand is always accumulator. Okay. For AND we write ANA, for OR we write ORA, for XOR we write XRA, for compare we write CMP, complement CMA. Rotate accumulator bit means bit shift. Just shift it by 1 bit. All the content will be shifted to left. Okay. So there is some jump operation. Why it is important to write some for loops or while loops like kind of thing. So there will be jump. But in for loops, we have a condition. If I equal less than something, then do something. So here we have a conditional jump. We have a unconditional jump. Call and return, that is for writing subroutine like function call. Jump to a 16-bit address if carry is set, JC, unconditional jump, JMP. Okay, these are the type of syntaxes. Do not worry about all these things. Once we start writing programs, we'll get to know. Anyhow, we'll be writing 5 to 6 programs. And once we write all these programs, we'll understand each of it. Machine control instruction to stop a program. And see, we write end of the program. Here we write HLT. Okay, so how do we write? Analyze the problem, develop the logic, write an algorithm, make a project, and exception. For the lab classes, you have to do flowchart. Flowchart is mandatory. So it will be easier to write a program by looking at the flowchart. Let's take a small example. Suppose I want to write a program of addition of two 8-bit numbers and store the result in register C. So you can take any number. So in this case, we have taken 99 and 39. So one of the operand we know is directly we have to store it in accumulator. So 99 means basically it will be in binary bits 1001, 1001, 39 is 0011, 1001. This is 39. 39 in hexadecimal format. Always remember these are all hexadecimal notations directly coming from the 8-bit binary numbers. So finally, I want to store the result in C, D2. Okay. Okay. Now I will do one thing. I will go to one online simulator. I will show you how to write a program. Because it will be boring if I only show you these slides. I will show you a little bit interesting things. Okay, so this is a website which is called sim8085.com. Okay, I will just share this link with you. Okay, so this is the link of the website. So this is a 8085 simulator. Okay, so what we will do? What was the task? I wanted to add two numbers. One was stored in register A, one was stored in register D, another in C. Before that, if you look carefully, this has the right side is the memory view. So generally in 8085, the memory location is ranging from 0000 to FFFF. So we can go to any memory location starting from 0000 to FFFF and address. So this is a simulator. So we can just use it for learning. Okay. So this left hand side is 000, right hand 0. So each memory location is of 16-bit. Okay. Why 16-bit? Because I have 16-bit address lines. So I can only address maximum memory size of 16-bit. Okay. The memory location is 16-bit means the address is 16-bit, but each location can store 8-bit. You can see this is 00 is 8-bit. So you can open this link actually. I'm just zooming it. So each memory location's address is 16-bit. However, data it can hold only 8-bit. You see 00. So at present or at the beginning, everything is storing 00. The same here. A/PSW. PSW is program status word or flag register. Okay. So I'm just resetting everything. So there is no content in accumulator, flag register 0002, so nothing to worry. So BC, all the registers are 0. So my first instruction, suppose I want to add or first element has to be transferred to register A. So I will write MVI A, comma, any data, any hexadecimal data. So let us say I am taking 10H. H is for hexadecimal. The general syntax is MVI A, 10. Here we have to just write MVI 10 H. So for hexadecimal number notation. Then suppose I want to move the second number into another register. So I will write MVI second register. Let us say I am taking it as D. So I will write MVI D, let us say 20. For addition of registers, so I will write ADD plus D. Now after addition, my result will be stored in accumulator. I have to store the result in register C, suppose. So I will write MOV, first the destination register, then the source register. At the end of each program, I will write HLT for the stop execution. Okay. Now what is good thing, once I write this program, so here we can see the flag register content and all these things. So this is for compiling. So assemble it. Let us assemble. Okay. So my code is ready. So I'll do one thing, I'll run it step by step. There are two modes, either run it completely or run it step by step. I'll run it step by step, run one instruction. Once I run the first instruction, MVI A, 10. So look here. I'm just stopping, resetting, and just going to the beginning so that you can understand it once again. Achha, all of you just check carefully here. It is showing your code has been compiled and loaded into memory location. See, the memory location is 0800. Okay. So whenever we write a program, it is also residing in some memory location. Okay. So you look carefully the program counter. Program counter is 0800. That means I am writing all these 5 instructions. The starting of the program counter is pointing to here. So it is written at memory location 0800. Right? So whenever, what was the definition of program counter? It will point to the first instruction to be executed or next instruction to be executed. So when I write go to run one instruction, program counter 0800, then run, it goes to 0802, right? Why? I will come to it because each instruction has, okay, each instruction takes some byte in memory. The MVI A, 10 takes 2 byte in memory. So next instruction starts with 0802. Understood the logic of program counter? Any doubt? So once,
Sir, it's showing some errors.
sorry,
When I was trying to do, it's showing some errors. Sir.
it is showing some error.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can share your screen. Maybe I'll just run it. So everyone. After that, you can share your screen. Okay. So what? Once I run this instruction, what happened? You look carefully. This accumulator contains the element 10. That means accumulator A becomes holds the value 10. Right. Now I'll run second instruction. Now this accumulator D register contains 20. Right. I had to store this 20 into register D. So my two values, one is in accumulator, one is in D register. Next add instruction. Once I add, the result is stored in accumulator 30. Now here the C register is blank, but my final thing is move to C register. So what we'll do? So move to C register. Okay. So we did a mistake. So we move the content of D register to C register, but I had to store the content of result. So it should have been A. So finally, so once we write this, so finally the result is in C register 30. Now if you
Sir,
ah,
sir, what is 06 written after 30 in accumulator?
06, okay. So this is the flag register. So if you for the timing just write it in the paper that 06 is the flag register content and do one thing. Convert this 06 into binary pattern. So it will be what? 00000110, right? Then draw these flags so you can see the final result. So this parity flag is only active, so you can compare. So that is the content of flag register as a bit when a total 8-bit 06. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Stack pointer is not used in this particular program. Once we go to a particular program, we can use. Okay, anyone having that difficulty in running the program, can you share that screen? Sir, error astala? Can you just copy that code and put it in the chat box? Yes. Okay, do one thing, MBI D, comma 20, right? Have you used a space?
Sir?
MBI D, comma space देइए.
Comma between space not.
Just remove that space and check again. No, just remove that space. Build the program.
Sir, build this program.
Build is the first green button. So assemble and load. Okay, good. Then go step by step again. Next, next, next. It is working, right?
Yes, sir.
Huh. Okay, so this is the thing. So do one thing. This was the program I had to write. We had to write to add two 8-bit numbers and store it in another register. So we loaded one register into D, one register into E, then copy. This is the flow chart or algorithm part of it for better understanding. So load first number into register D, load second number into register E, but we did it to accumulator and another register. So you can use any register, maybe D, maybe C, maybe H, maybe L, any register. So just a quick task. So already this addition program is available in the chat box. So Gayatri has already pasted it. So can you write a program for subtraction? So all of you write a program for subtraction. And write it in that platform and execute it step by step and share your screenshot after the last execution in the WhatsApp group. So I'm giving you this one. So take first register PH, second take affiliate subtraction command is SUB. You can just write and step take experience or PH. I will tell you why in the next one. This is the command for subtraction SUBB. Then finally copy the result. To register C from A. Okay. This is the thing you have to write this small program. Take reference of what Gayatri has written. So it will be easier from there. Finally, you have to write HLT and share your screenshot in WhatsApp group. Only those you will share within. This is 4 o'clock, 4:15. Take 15 minutes max. Only those you will share, I will consider you present in this class. Otherwise, you are absent today. In case you are not sharing, just ask what is your doubt.
Sir, we have to take A equal to 10 or 40.
Your voice is not audible.
Hello, sir.
Huh?
Sir, we have to take A equal to 40 or 10.
You have to take A equal to 40, not 10. Second one. It is already registered. Copy the result into register C. It is already written. Na? Store the result in register C finally. Okay, I'm checking just a minute. Good. So I see Siddhant Swai. For section B, we have a group. For section A also, we have a group. I think you can post in your section A group for A students. Nihar Ranjan. Good. Just write your name and registration number in that as a caption so that it will be easier. It is very easy actually. It is not that difficult. So what we will do is, because you have 2-3 days break now, next class we have on Monday. I'll give you some 2-3 assignments, some small programs. You have to do it in similar way. In addition to the program, you have to write the flowchart as well. You got Shubham Jyoti, Swapnasis, Satyaprakash Sahu, Gayatri, Sasank Kashyap, Arishmita Banerjee, Satish Kumar Vishwakarma, Abhishek Pratyush, Ashish Kumar Panda, Shantanu Anshuman, Arnit, Ayush Tripathi, Shantanu Janmajay. Okay, do one thing. Those of you who have completed, you can simply leave this meeting. I'm just not going to cover anything else today. Those who have not complete, you can stay and complete, then leave the meeting.